All right, a happy Tuesday. Welcome to the off-season. Teams can begin negotiating with free agents on their own roster, extensions. I do not expect a flurry of deals to happen. I think teams are smarter and agents are smarter to put stuff out right away. But we're going to do a video on the Dallas Mavericks. There is plenty of off-season content on ESPN.com. Dallas is Team 29. Their article came out on Monday night. We've got an off-season draft guide and free agency guide. We've got salary projections. We've got spending tiers. We've got everything you need to know about coming in. We're going to keep on putting out material as far as what we want out there. So for Dallas, certainly a team, I think that exceeded expectations this year. You come off the lottery last year. You basically turn over your roster from that 2022 team that got to the conference finals. That wasn't good enough. I thought this team was good enough to win a championship. I picked them to win. They did not. Boston proved to be the better team. When you have, event at the end of the day, your stars got to come to play, right? That's the reality, is that your stars got to be stars, and for Dallas consistently to have both guys play at a high level just wasn't there. So we are going to talk about the Mavericks offseason. Pretty an interesting offseason, because basically the same roster returns. Your two free agents are Derek Jones and Markieff Morris. And the Jones situation is going to be the most intriguing. Derek Jones has been your ultimate journeyman. Chicago, Portland, Miami, Phoenix, list goes on. He signs a one-year minimum contract last year, took less money, came out and said that, based off that option year, for the veteran minimum exception. He outplays his contract, and now here comes the danger of trying to retain a player like Derek Jones. You have non-bird rights. Where Dallas is right now financially. Let's pull up the Mavericks financially. We put it on the slide. You are right over the luxury tax threshold. We will pull that up for you guys. Okay, so you've got 13 players under contract. Remember, your draft pick goes to New York, which is pick 24, I believe. Right now you have $174.1 million in salary. The luxury tax is at $171. You have three players on non-guaranteed contracts: Dante Exum, AJ Lawson, Jaden Hardy. Remember, if a guy like AJ Lawson is cut, you got to replace him there. Maybe you get maybe a little bit more savings there. So you're over the luxury tax. Okay, you've got Kyrie Irving bonuses that count towards the apron, $1 million. So you're $3.6 million below the first apron. You still have flexibility below the second, 14.4. So why does this matter regarding Derek Jones as far as where he is from a priority standpoint? The most you have to offer in free agency to Derek Jones is $5.2 million. That's the most. Derek Jones in his career has made $28 million. I wrote about him in the article that came out on Monday, 10 free agents, the salaries that I would like to pay, that I would pay them. I put Derek Jones in the Bruce Brown category as the contract to keep an eye on. Remember last year, Bruce signs for 2 for 45. He's got team options. One of these, JJ Redick was the first guy to basically come in with these balloon payments. As far as what we've seen, I would not be surprised if a team came in, and certainly there's a domino effect here. What will happen in free agency? Paul George basically controls free agency. There'll be a domino effect here where, based on who has money. Teams got to spend 90% of salary here by the first day of the regular season. Will Derek Jones be that guy that a team comes in and offers like 2 for 46, $23 million, team option on the second year? If that happens, then I think basically Dallas is where Denver was, and they will lose him. They will have the $5.2 million tax mid-level exception. Would I go out and move money? So basically you're asking to move the Hardaway Jr. or the Kleber contract to be able to free up your $12.9 million non-tax mid-level exception. That's a tough decision. That takes away some of your depth. I think you can use Hardaway Jr. in another trade because of what you have draft pick-wise. And despite owing Brooklyn a first and Charlotte a first, and there's some swaps there, Dallas still has their 2025 first, and they have a 2031 first that they can go out and make a deal and add to their salary here. There is no extension for Luka this offseason. Luka is 1 year short of the 7 years of service criteria. He is extension eligible next offseason to sign the biggest contract in NBA history, which is 5 years, $346 million. That will not start until 26-27. So your roster returns, okay? The continuity factor returns. You have Luka, Kyrie, and 2 more years, got a player option for next year. I was asked this morning on radio, would you sell high on Kyrie? Probably I'm not selling high on Kyrie. I think he proved his worth. I remember everyone last year got crazy when Kyrie signed for 3 for $120, and they basically said Dallas was outbidding against himself. I'd be careful there. I think, listen, you have Hardaway is on an expiring. I think you can move him and try to maybe upgrade with your draft picks at 25 and 31. You've got, I wouldn't do anything with PJ. Gafford, he's got 2 years, $28 million. Josh Green, Kleber, 2 years. Lively, definitely not. I mean, we haven't talked about Omax Prosper. I'm intrigued by him this offseason because I think he can come in and be that big wing. He could be your Derek Jones Jr., possibly a replacement. And then you have some decisions with Exum, Lawson, and Hardy. I would expect all 3 contracts to be guaranteed. I would expect Dallas to be a tax team, which is fine. There's no harm being a tax team. I would expect, I think Jaden Hardy is intriguing from an extension candidate. I mean, his minutes went, woo, it's like a roller coaster there. He's extension eligible once his contract is guaranteed here. The hard part is, Dallas is in the Western Conference. Denver's going to be there again. Minnesota's going to be there again. I mean, you could say this team could lose in the first round. You could say this team can reach the NBA Finals here. But I do think their window to compete at a high level, I think they found the right identity. And I think Jason Kidd did a terrific job this year. He's continually getting better. He's got a really good staff. I think Nico Harrison is a really, really good general manager. I think sometimes when you're not cut in that NBA cloth where like you didn't grind your teeth and work your way up the food chain, and you certainly Nico has that Nike experience, and you just have a different perspective on the league. It just kind of opens up your eyes to a lot of different things than maybe what your thought process is. And they've got a really good front office there. Certainly Matt Riccardi worked for me back in the day in New Jersey and Brooklyn. He's really Michael Finley is another person. Andrew Baker, really, really good front office here. And they've shown the ability to turn it over if they had to. They're not stuck. Like, being stuck is not a good place to be. They can turn over a couple of these pieces because they've shown the ability to go out and do that. Certainly with draft picks. They've basically taken 3 first-round picks and turned it into Kyrie, Gafford, and P.J. Washington. Instead of taking 3 first-round picks and turn it into one player, it's turned into 3 different players here. And they should be applauded, and I think that's why if you're a Maverick fan, there's a belief there that the team will get better because your front office is constantly looking at to make this roster better. So that's it for Dallas. I think it's a terrific year, certainly not how you want it to end. Derek Jones Jr., keep an eye on that. What you do with your draft equity, you've got the 58th pick in the draft. That's probably going to be a two-way guy. That's going to be the big thing there as far as where the Mavericks are. So have a great day. We will talk soon. Draft in a week. I'm on fire. The CDA over here.